The other day I decided to get some more strings, and when I went to the guitar store, I was just stunned at the massive wall of options, and I realized that I really don't know a whole lot about why I play the strings I play. And I started reading about elixirs and coated strings versus non-coated strings and the different types of coatings and the advantages and disadvantages, and there was a whole world open up. So I feel after playing guitar for 25 years, I probably need to start really paying attention. For my electric, I'm just using a bunch of, D'Addario, Ernie Ball, whatever else shows up. And they sound fine to me, but maybe I need to pay more attention and just start taking some notes and thinking, okay, let me compare. But while I was in the guitar store, I saw these. I saw some green and multicolor and blue luminous guitar strings, and I thought, why? Why would you? And then I thought, you know what? Maybe I ought to put these on just for cracks. So these are Dior neon blue, and I'm gonna put these on my Stratocaster, and I'm gonna try them in my practice space tomorrow and over the next week, and I have a gig on Tuesday. If these don't snap, if they don't suck and actually play the gig on Tuesday, then maybe it'd be interesting. Maybe they show up well under the black light. I kind of feel this is more for like attention-seeking shredder, or maybe it's good for new wave. It's kind of 80s. It's probably not my scene, but I'm going to try them out anyway. So yeah, I'm going to put these on. Let's have a look at them, and I'll report back on what they sound like, and then I'll see what they look like as well. Well, there they are. I can't tell if that looks incredibly lame or kind of cool. It's definitely a novelty look, that's for sure. And I'm gonna see if I can see what they look like under the black light, and I'm gonna take them to the practice space tomorrow, and then if they don't suck, I'll see if they last through the gig on Tuesday. So yeah, it does appear to do something under the black light. So that's the strings under the black light. I mean, yeah, there's an effect there. I don't know if that's to die for. It's certainly not as cool as what my painting does under the black light. That's a cool black light effect. That's New York Greek American artist Agnes Otis, who uses precious metals in her paintings, and they all are conditioned to do something cool under the black light. So that's a cool black light effect. That I don't know. Maybe I have high expectations, but let's see how they sound and how they do at the gig. So they didn't even make it as far as the gig. I put the strings on Tuesday, and by Sunday, I played them in quite a bit, I would have thought, but they still kept going out of tune a lot. I put them on the Tuesday, and I played them pretty aggressively, and then I had a practice the next day, a couple of hours really hammering through my set list. I kept playing them at home Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, just kind of hammering away and doing scales and practicing. And then Sunday, another session with the full band, really hammered the strings a lot, and it just kept going out of tune. And really, 6 days of pretty decent playing, you'd think that things would settle in by then. So as kind of interesting as they may have looked, I couldn't really go to a gig on Tuesday of this week if the strings I put on the guitar Tuesday of last week were still kind of settling in. That just made me feel very nervous. So I just went back to my regular D'Addario strings, and honestly, when I went to take the strings off, I also noticed that the plating had come off quite a bit. A lot of the blue coating had come off entirely at certain points, and there was sort of blue flake around the guitar as well, which is weird. And when I read the back of it, it says coating lasts up to 9 times longer than previous color coatings. Okay, well, 9 times longer. The previous coating lasted at best 20 minutes. So I mean I didn't read that when I bought them. I didn't read that on the back when I bought them. Maybe I should have. I was just kind of entranced by the idea of the neon strings. But you get strings with coating that is only going to last 20 minutes. I mean, I don't really. Just kind of shocking. So after 180 minutes of testing, there's usually a worn spot and some dust from the coating and the pick. but the rest of the coating had not peeled or stripped away, is what it says here, and that's kind of what I found. Strips of it started to peel away, and flakes of the coating were on the pickup and on the guitar, but then a lot of the coating still remained. So I don't know. That's not a very satisfying experience to me. Once you put strings on a week ahead of your gig, you'd sort of expect those things to be ready to go ahead of time, and not have to emergency change the strings again at the last minute. I bought a lot of strings that day. You know, as I mentioned, I was kind of stunned by the wall of strings, so I also bought these Black Beauties. This coating makes them the first coated strings that sound as good or better than uncoated strings, and I wanted to try that out, because a lot of the coated strings, they last longer because the coating stops the oils from your fingers and the dirt and any sweat and any other stuff kind of getting in and corroding the strings and deadening the strings, so they last longer, right? So that's the purpose of the coating. It helps the strings last longer, but there's a lot of folks out there who think that the coated strings just don't sound as good as the uncoated strings. So here's a manufacturer saying, well, these are the first strings that sound as good or better than uncoated strings. So I was intrigued by that, but having tried the neon version of the strings, I'm now a little bit skeptical. Probably won't be putting them on there in a hurry, but that's my experience. Maybe they're better for neon guitars. If you're going to shred a neon guitar, maybe that's really the kind of, you're the kind of guy who's going to want these strings. I'd be interested to see whether other people put the strings on differently. I tend to tie a little kind of knot when I put them on, which just helps them stay tight. I wonder if other people had experience where they don't do the knot, where they just kind of wind them up directly, and whether that actually has a better experience where they don't go out of tune as much. So, if you watch this video and you've tried the strings, please leave a comment and let me know if there's something I should be doing differently. Want to give these strings their due diligence, but not this time around.